Everyday carry pouches and organizers. What's the deal with these things? What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. For the past year or so, maybe even a little bit longer than that, I've been seeing everyday carry pouches and these like little pocket organizers all over Instagram. I'm seeing all different sizes, different configurations, people putting patches on some hook and loop Velcro on the outside with ranger eyes and just like all sorts of beads and trinkets and all of this like super niche EDC style gear. And to me, it seems a little bit overkill. A lot of these pouches and organizers seem to be very overpacked, and this could be just for like an Instagram shot type of deal. People are carrying multiple knives and flashlights and all sorts of stuff in these little packs, and it got me thinking, what is the deal with these EDC packs? Now, years ago, I don't even know how long ago it has been, but I did sort of a video on little EDC packs like this before they were like super popular, because I'm seeing them everywhere now. And my use case for little pouches like this were to actually leave sort of like redundancies of gear inside of my vehicles. Mainly with little packs like this right here. In the past, I was using some type of Maxpedition pouch, and instead of carrying just EDC gear in there, I had things like zip ties and maybe some like ibuprofen, spare batteries, possibly a flashlight, and they were just things that were nice to have in my vehicle, but not technically items that I would carry with me every day. So after thinking about my experience with these little packs in the past, basically just little emergency packs that I would leave in my vehicles, and then seeing all of the packs on Instagram and social media today, it got me thinking, maybe there's something more to these. So after my recent EDC update video, I actually moved all of the items that I was carrying into a pouch right here, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Before we get into the one that I'm actually using, I went onto Amazon and I ordered a whole bunch of EDC packs, pouches, organizers, all of these little bags to kind of shove things into. And we're going to go over some of the things that I like and don't like, and then eventually get into the one that I ended up using and I'm still using today. Now, my idea behind using a pouch like this is basically to have all of my EDC items in one place. A lot of you guys out there who are into EDC, you know the routine. You come home from work, maybe you have a table or a dump pouch, and you just throw your pocket knife and your flashlight and your wallet and your cell phone, maybe your watch, all of your EDC items out of your pocket onto a table. Then if you're going out later, you have to repack your pockets with all of your gear, and it's kind of annoying because oftentimes you might forget something. So my idea behind using a pack like this is to have everything in one spot. That way when I get home, I throw this on the table, and then when I'm getting ready to go out, I just pick it up and I have all of my essentials with me. So for the first pouch that I ordered to try out, this is the Tactical Geek EDC Compact Waist Pocket Pouch on Amazon. I'll leave links for all of this stuff in the description down below if you guys want to check it out for yourself. When I received this in the mail, I noticed that it was way too big right from the jump. It does have some cool like laser cut MOLLE on the back, so you can kind of pack things on the outside. And although this is too big for me to carry with me every single day, I decided to pack it out sort of how I used to use these in the past. So this right here is what I'm going to probably drop into my truck, and it's just full of random EDC gear like a multi-tool, a little phone charger, a lighter, some zip ties, a pen, some paper to write on, flashlight, just a bunch of tools in here which will definitely come in handy at some point. This is very similar to the Maxpedition pouch that I used to have in one of my Subarus. So because it's too big to carry with me every day, I packed it out with some like kind of essential gear, and this is going to be living in my truck. Maybe I will bring you guys a full video on this in the future if I end up liking it. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it is made with some Cadora fabric, which is nice. So the next one on my radar was this little guy right here, which is very similar in form factor to the other, but just like shrunken down. There are some pouches on the outside. We now have some loop on here so I can stick ranger eye patches. I'm not like super into patches, but this pouch is one that I actually moved all of my EDC gear into, and it's just not for me. It fully unzippers and opens up like a book. We have some stretchy nylon material on the inside where you can put pens and all of your gear. It's just kind of a little bit too minimalist for me. And this is where I started to realize that if I have all of my gear in here and I want to keep it in my pockets, one, there's really no place to store cards and cash like a wallet, so I would kind of have to put a minimalist wallet in here. And two, whenever I need access to those items, I have to pull this out of my pocket. Typically, I was just walking around with this in a jacket pocket. I'd have to unzip it, pull out my knife, or I would unzip it, pull out a credit card out of a wallet that I'm keeping in here. It just seems kind of redundant. So this style was kind of out for me right from the get-go. I understand most people are probably not using this to keep all of their regular daily items in here. The main thing being the pocket knife. I want to reach into my pocket and flick a knife open whenever I need to use it instead of pulling this out of my jacket pocket, opening it up. It's just kind of annoying. So then I moved on to these two right here, and I didn't realize at the time of purchasing, but they are both very, very similar. Right here I have the Viperade VE1 X-Pack, and this one stood out to me because there's a lot of external pocket storage. We have some nylon webbing here, and you can clip things to it, flashlights, you can slip a wallet in the back. It does have a single zipper compartment on the front here, so if I wanted to put like my ID or something like that, I could slip it in there. It would be a little more secure. And then it has two little loops of paracord on here, which you could like clip to a lanyard or something and wear it around your neck. I'm not into that. And then the one very similar to that right here is the Viperade VE16 X-Pack, and this one is a little bit different, very similar to the previous one, but now it has some loop Velcro on the outside so you can stick all your cool patches to it. It does have the same zipper pouch on the outside, but now an extra pocket next to that. The back is almost identical with the nylon webbing on there, a few different pockets for all of your EDC items, and then on the top it now has a zipper, so I moved all of my EDC gear into this thing for a little while. After using this for a few days, I quickly realized that I was kind of running into the same issues as this. This one was a little bit nicer because I could keep all of my gear on the outside, so if I have this thing riding in my back pocket, I can just sort of reach in, feel a pocket knife, and pull it out. But then again, there's really no like wallet compartment on here, so I would have to put all of my cards and cash into a minimalist wallet and slide it inside of here. Again, really not my style, but I don't even know what my style is at this point. Like, what is the deal with these things? Other than having them for Instagram and packing them with a bunch of expensive gear, throwing it in maybe an EDC backpack just to take photos of while you're out and about, that's cool. I understand being into gear like that, but this one just wasn't cutting it for me. So that brings us to the one that I have been using now for a little while, and I kind of like it. So this right here is a little pouch that I picked up from Supreme years ago. I was never really into Supreme as a brand or like the streetwear fashion type of thing that has been popular for a while, but every once in a while I would kind of stalk their drops, and I saw this release one day. I think I paid like 20 bucks for this little pouch, and it just sort of sat in one of my EDC drawers for a while. I didn't know why I wanted this. I was sort of thinking about the Maxpedition pouch that I had left in one of my Subarus, so I was like, maybe I could use this. I ended up never using it until now. So on the outside, this thing does have YKK zippers, which is fairly nice, and you will notice that even with my typical EDC gear in here, it still remains pretty thin. On those zippers, I put little lanyard pulls from my buddy Pete. He sent out a whole bunch of Pirate Pete stuff, so I added those little pull lanyards on there just to make accessing this thing a little bit easier. There's a nylon loop on the front here where I put my Tacoma key. I can also slide that thing down inside this pocket here, but I find that it's easier to just leave it out. There is a pocket behind that key, and then also a zipper pouch over on the left hand side here, and this is where I keep my IDs. We're not going to get into that right now. So now moving to the inside, this thing zippers all the way around and opens up like a book, and here's where I have all of the EDC gear that you guys saw in my recent video, with a little bit of extras. And the reason I find myself using this a little bit more is because it keeps all of my gear in the same place, but also it has little pockets here for cards, cash, and whatever else you may need to use this thing as an actual wallet. So on the left hand side, there are 3 different card slots, which is plenty for all of the cards that I typically carry with me on a normal day. And then there's a see-through pocket on the bottom where I just stash a little bit of cash and also my Travax Talon, which I typically keep my keys on, but now it's just sitting in this pocket to use for its multi-tool functions, which is essentially a pry bar, flathead, Phillips head, and a bottle opener as well. Now over on the right side, you will notice my Leatherman Signal in the middle, which is the biggest, bulkiest item in here, and that has all the tools that I need Still a really big fan of this multi-tool. And then two more things that I've added. On the left-hand side here, this is a tiny little fixed blade that I bought from my buddy TJ Schwartz, and he CNCs these little sort of EDC scalpels. I had my eye on these for a while, and after his last release, and after using his overland knife, which I keep in my truck as well, I decided it was time to pick one of these up, and I actually use this thing quite a lot. It really acts as a little scalpel. It's great for opening boxes, letters, and things like that. Of course, it is kind of like a fixed blade. You guys know I like fixed blades. And this thing is just super slim, has a leather pouch, and that slips inside, keeping it safe. And then since I had the room, over on the right-hand side, I did throw a flashlight into the mix. A lot of people were asking, yo, where's your EDC flashlight in my last EDC update video? Honestly, haven't really been carrying a pocket light as of lately. Not sure what it is. I'm not going outside at night as much because it's the middle of winter and I'm not camping as much. So the flashlight on my cell phone has been fine for now, but I figured I have this room, might as well throw a Streamlight MicroStream into the mix. Little AAA. I've carried one of these things for quite a while. There is also a see-through pouch that you can access in the back here, so you could put some other things in there. I'm not using that because I don't want people to see what I have inside of here if I just like set this on a table while we're out at a restaurant. But there is a little bit more storage on there, and my whole idea behind this was just to have all of my EDC items in one place. So now I have my keys, my wallet, some cash, multi-tool, my phone, which is separate, and then a flashlight, a fixed blade. I have everything in this slim little pouch now, and I kind of like it. Now you do still run into the issue of like not having super quick access to a pocket knife. I just like reaching into my pocket and flicking one out, but now I have to pull this out, open this up, pull out the fixed blade, cut something open, slide that thing back in. It's not as convenient as just throwing things into your pocket, but it is convenient every day when I just grab this off of my kitchen counter and I know that I have my keys and all of my essentials right here in my hand. So those are my kind of long-winded thoughts on EDC pouches and pocket organizers. I'm curious if you guys out there use it in this fashion, or if you're one of the guys that just carries around a ton of expensive knives and other EDC gear for the gram. There's no shame in that. Definitely not shaming anyone. Maybe some of you out there know a nice little pouch like this that has sort of like wallet compartment style storage on there, and you can also fit some other gear in it too. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you use these, if you have other pack recommendations. I have these three pouches here that I'm definitely not going to use anymore, so I think it's probably long overdue for a giveaway here on the channel. If you're subscribed to this channel, you leave a like and a comment down below. I'm going to pick a winner for one of these pouches, and then the other two, let's do a giveaway over on Instagram. You can find me over there. I'll leave some details, sort of the same thing on my Instagram, and then one, probably one of my favorite ones for Patreon. This one even has a little unreleased patch on there, so we'll give this one away over on Patreon. Now, if you guys have any questions on this gear that you saw here, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to answer anything as best as possible. And that is all for this EDC pocket pouch organizer update. Yeah, that's it. I still don't really understand these things. That's all. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.